All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm gonna finish off the sector looking at high tide, SNDL, MSOS. I'll also take a look at the weed ETF as well, and then CRON to round it out. All right, so high tide. Look, I mentioned yesterday, assuming it was going to go down. It honestly did not, in my opinion. Right, a doji is essentially flat, especially when you're looking at that. Right, but the biggest thing for me is this volume right here. All right, we actually still stayed over the 50-day average. Even on a day I always call a loser day. Every single Friday, I always say I'm assuming it's going to be a loser day, right? Volume generally really low. Interest is really low. People start the weekend early, whatever, right? I also talk about people not liking to hold over the weekend. So many reasons, right? But I am loving on a loser Friday, volume still breaking the 50-day average. So that's definitely a highlight there. SNDL actually looks a lot like Tilray, and I didn't want to just accidentally lump it in there. I'd been doing that, right? So happy to break that one out. MSOS, I mean, it was night and day in a lot of ways. S&P 500 was night and day, right? So that's obviously going to be the theme there. I'll do that same 15-minute chart view. I actually got some really interesting comments on that. I'm glad people like that. And then CRON, I'll be honest, the views were not that great, but I learned some things during the comments, and I think I'm a little curious about the stock myself. So I'm going to ask some questions for the team on CRON, and then obviously I'll give you my thoughts and opinions as well, right? But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take, oh, no, not down there. Sorry. We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We've got our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time, I'm so grateful for it. All right, so let's get into high tide. All right, and excuse me, before I talk about the actual stock, look, I gotta talk about the S&P 500 again, right? I spent a good amount of time on it yesterday, and I say this again, even though High Tide is a Canadian company, look, when I type in the letters, this is a NASDAQ listed stock, all right? I am not really seeing a Canadian company. I'm seeing a US listed stock. And with that comes a dependence on the indices. Look, the indices are the ocean, and all the stocks, all the sectors are just boats swimming in it. You know what I mean? And you need a calm ocean to feel, to at least not get seasick, let alone worse, right? So this is a scary candle. The low of the day was almost the close of the day. It was the first time we lost that orange line. It was a bad thing, right? And today did very well. Today started very well by gapping up. We never see a silly wick that went below yesterday, and obviously we do significantly better where we close and also a high wick, right? So S&P 500 did well, and it is important for even a Canadian stock like High Tide, all right? So couple things just following up from yesterday's video. So Mississauga, oh man, I really didn't want to mispronounce it, and I think I did, but nonetheless, that was the city I was thinking of, and it is in fact in a very important province. Damn, I'm an ignorant American and I apologize, all right? But yeah, not only is it in the #1 fastest growing, it is a fastest growing city. It's an important province. It is actually neighbors to the #2 one is what the consensus seems to be. So Mississauga was an important new dispensary that keeps going. And again, ignorant American, I appreciate the corrections and the love instead of making fun of me, okay? Let's talk about High Tide. And really, I can't stress it enough. Volume has actually been the biggest highlight to me. Obviously, beautiful double digit. I mean, even kissing $3, right? All that is easy to focus on, but volume to me, this Wednesday the 3rd was the biggest biggest trading day on a single day for high tide history, and then you follow it up with the number 2 day, you don't even lose 90% of the volume. You are at 3 million something, you're still at 3 million something. Monster, monster. And even today, all right, I don't know what number it is, but I remember being excited that this one was the 4th. All right, so hey, maybe this is a top 10 day on a loser Friday. That's making me believe that this 50-day average line, it's real. It is real, right? And what does that mean? Look, just zooming out, okay? It's easier to see it back here. That's a really exponential lift, all right? We've seen it before. Okay, so we can't pretend it's never happened. And hey, that's a beautiful run, right? So it's also good to know that high tide can do this, right? It knows how to break them all and fly, right? We've seen the volume go up. We haven't actually kind of seen it. Okay, let me say it a different way. Let's zoom in. Let me get the better view on this high tide pop right here, all right? We get a real good up, and then we definitely make the very consistent down, right? And I think right now we're still making this very up. And hey, the question is going to start to be, are we going to hold it or not, right? So I can't sit here and make assumptions that we're just going to kind of healthy bounce and go, right? But hey, if the sector can hold, that should help here, right? But again, we've seen this. We've seen this up. Let's see if that doesn't happen, all right? That's going to be an important thing. I think I got distracted from what I was going to try to say, but hey, it happens, all right? That's what unscripted means. Let's talk about this doji, all right? Because it's actually the exact same things I said about Tilray. That's a picturesque doji right there. That's a picturesque doji right here. I believe SNDL had the exact, not the exact same, but again, another doji right there, right? So just a doji day across most of these sectors is what I'm kind of seeing, right? Which is, let's wait for Monday. Let's wait to see what the S&P 500 does and go from there, right? It's an interesting doji for 2 reasons. Number one, obviously we're below it, right? We close at 252. My line's at 254. Listen, my horizontal white lines are not here to be perfect. They're here for good enough, because good enough will make and save you a lot of money. Perfection is the killer of great, all right? So trust me, that being a couple cents isn't my thing. What I see is a doji on the line. That's really what I see, right? Like, these moving averages are to the penny mathematically generated, right? Like, I'm just a dude clicking, right? So that's close enough on the line for me to say, all right, like this is a big doji on a big line that's saying, let's see what Monday does, all right? I normally give my predictions for Monday based on up here. Listen, Monday's about down here. Monday has been and again is going to be about volume, all right? It's funny that I have this line. I assumed I deleted it the first time. I can't even believe I didn't delete it the last time. Look, I think this is what I want. This right here, I'm actually focusing less on this. I know it almost looks like it's the top of this guy. I'm trying to look at half of our biggest day, all right? Half of the second biggest. Give me 1.7 million shares traded in a day, all right? And what does that mean? If I'm looking for 1.7 million in a 7-hour trading day, I need 240K shares in that first hour. I need close to 500,000 by that second hour, all right? Those are the numbers I'm looking for in the volume. Volume heals all wounds, all right? I see the MACD coming down. 76 is kind of a high number. I know I kind of talked about it coming into like maybe the 60s or the 50s, right? But again, if volume comes, if the S&P 500 comes, this is going up, all right? And I think we're going to keep kind of echoing and I would want to say creeping towards that 3, right? We came close to that little peak right there. I think we would want to retest that if things are good, right? Otherwise, look, my expectation basically would be if bad things were to happen, we were going to come to the 8 moving average. Let's be honest, the 8 moving average is probably going to do that come Monday. So maybe 230 on the downside, 235 give or take, or hopefully like a 280 on the upside. I would say that's my guesses for Monday. And really, I think it's going to be very, very much dictated on on that right there on the volume. Someone wanted me to look at the monthly. I wanted to do that for Tilray and CGC. I completely forgot. Look, this is a beautiful monthly chart. All right, this is actually telling me we want to come to 330 by the end of this month. All right, we're sitting in red, green, green. We've gotten over the 8. We lose the 8 and the 20. We're back over the 8 and the 20, right? Like, these are good things to say on the daily, good things on the weekly. You know it's a good thing on the Monday, right? So my expectation is you've broken the 8, you've broken the 20, you want to come to the 50. Are we going to break the 50? I don't know. Right? Like, I don't have a crystal ball. Like, I don't know. And again, my strong suit's the short game, not the long game, right? But that's the last moving average. This stock has not been around for 100 weeks, for 100 months, right? So this 50 is the equivalent of the 200. That will be a hard line to break because it's the last one for the moment. But if it breaks, oh man, all right, so there's a lot of weight on that 330 line is an important thing to keep on your back pocket, all right? Hey, let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions, let me know if I mispronounced anything or if I missed anything, all right? Oh, I appreciate you all so much, all right? Let's come into Sandal, SNDL. I call it Sandal with love if you've never heard me say that before, all right? So really quickly, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share this video, oh, it does wonders for the algorithms, all right? So SNDL, look, this is and has been sitting over the 8 moving average. We have already seen it hit it and bounce up, all right? So the fact that we're there again, you know, I have to stay bullish over the line. It's how it works, right? I'm not sure what to think about this, and I'm gonna say the comments, and I'm gonna say it with a please correct me if you disagree kind of echo. All right, SNDL had a very beautiful technical setup that very much mirrored Tilray, right? From this July pop to this no, sorry, I'm talking about right here. From this November pop all the way to January right here, all right? Again, SNDL, oops, oh, wow, that was horrible. SNDL from this, where was it? Right here. Oh, it wasn't as pretty. What did I zoom out to? I zoomed out to something else, whatever. This is what I was talking about. SNDL had a good movement right here from, wow, it wasn't, yeah, I guess so. No, not really, but just this. Look, it looked like it was about to escape the moving averages, and then all of a sudden on this 1-9, we get this horrible candle that brings this back down. That 1-9 candle was the same 1-9 Tilray earnings, all right? And I very much said I believed that Tilray coming down is actually what kept SNDL from not only going up, but also coming down as well. As you can see, it wasn't as drastic, right? But still, I don't know if this doji is similar to Tilray, because again, people aren't sure about Tilray and people are connecting SNDL with Tilray. Is it correct to do that? Is it justifiable to do that? Listen, I'm not here to argue or vote yes or no on that. I do this all the time. I find stocks that really, even for no, there are times when there are stocks that aren't even in the same sector that for no reason at all become connected. And believe me, I'm not here to argue whether they should be or not. I'm just here trading it until it tells me otherwise, right? There seems to be this like connection between SNDL and Tilray that I can't put my finger on. But I think this doji is because of Tilray earnings. I think that if Tilray earnings do well on Tuesday the 9th, this will go up. And if they do bad, this will go down. Let me know if you disagree. That's a thought I got in my head right now, all right? Nonetheless, on SNDL itself, all right, it's the exact same things I've been saying about all the stocks so far. You have to stay bullish over the 8. If you lose the 8, you might fall down to the 20. I think this might be a decent support, this like basically $2 line, and then maybe this like 185 line if we lose that, all right? But hey, you're over the 8, you're all good. And then again, if the S&P 500, if the SPX can stay up and keep going up, that should help SNDL. Again, SNDL might be a Canadian company. This is a NASDAQ listed stock, and I see a US listing, not a Canadian company when I look at these 4 random letters, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your, let's look at the weekly. I don't think I did the weekly here. Just oof, this is a big weekly. So big weekly. Oh my gosh. This is only the 3rd green candle on the weekly over the 100. All right. Now, clearly it was a lot better at some point, but hey, we still closed over the line. Oh man, we need 240 to confirm. We got till next Friday, right? So I don't need it to do it Monday, Tuesday based on this, right? But come Friday, I want to be at 240, and we'll start talking about confirming the 100. Maybe a little bit higher would be lovely. Where are you at? Should I lift this to 248 and give us a better confirmation line? Where's this from? Yeah, I don't need that line. I don't think that's a crazy good line. I want that line. I want 248. Give me just a little bit better. Give me half of this guy. 245. I'm cool with 245. We're half of that weekly. Not quite at the top. I mean, not quite at the bottom, but I think that couple cents more, that's going to be the confirmation I want. Again, especially like I said, only the 3rd week since it was invented, since it came up in middle of 2021. So I'm glad I looked at the weekly. That's a big weekly, and hey, that's lovely volume. It's a nice MACD and RSI as well, actually. SNDL, the weekly is looking strong, and hey, that helps with the day-to-day movements, all right? Dang, I'm already at 16 minutes. All right, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let's come into MSOS, all right? So there are 2 things I want to do. The first thing I'm going to do is start here. This is the one. So no, this is the round hill. This is the other one. So I'm looking at NASDAQ.com. What I basically did was I just did a Google search of what are the top 10 MSOS holdings, all right? And it brought me to this. This is the top 10 holdings of MSOS as of whenever this was updated. And there's a date on this, I'm sure, right? You can see the top 4 are Green Thumb, Curaleaf, Trulieve, and Verano. Verano's the one I tend to forget the most, all right? When I look at Roundhill, which is the ticker weed, what are the top 4 holdings? Curaleaf, Green Thumb, Trulieve, Verano. Just a different order of 1, 2, 3, 4 and a different weight. But those are the top 4 holdings of the 2 main US ETFs, right? So, and look, what's number 5? Cresco. What's number 5? Cresco, right? So, you know, it's one of those things where if you're not sure what's a good one to look at, hey, when the US ETFs have a couple things in common, it's not a bad place to start. You know what I mean? So just a real quick thing I wanted to talk about. I'll be honest, I'm already at 18. Well, let's see if I cover them all real quick. All right. Next thing I want to show is the S&P 500 on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so we did this yesterday. So today is the 5th. Yesterday is the 4th. Each of these represents 15 minutes, all right? So we fall around 1 o'clock, and then we do this rise and hold, all right? That's the S&P 500. Let's take a look at MSOS on the 15. We do this rise, we do this fall, we do this rise. We actually do a little bit better right here as well, I would say, right? But MSOS very, very, very much was pulled down and recovered well because of the S&P 500, all right? So again, there are times, look, you might have all your money in MSOS for all I know, right? You need to look at other places than just where your money is. Indices are the easiest place. From there, yeah, if you're in an ETF, the individual holdings, different stocks around it, this, that, and those, right? But very, very, very much believe that. And like, look, let's just look at the weed ETF as well, right? almost identical, right? And again, when they have the same four top holdings, just a slightly different arrangement. Wow, I said arrangement really weird. You can expect the charts to look nearly identical. The biggest difference when I look at the WEED ETF, WEED, look at that volume. That's crazy low. That's crazy low. We're nowhere near even 100K, right? When you look at MSOS, you're talking millions, tens of millions, right? So it's hard to compare the two volume wise, but hey, it's real good to know that they have the same four holdings, right? Because again, if you don't know where to look, that's an interesting place to look, right? So very much echoing the same comments. You've got to take a look at the S&P 500. If that does well, this will do well. Otherwise, it's kind of going to mirror it, right? So I'm not going to look at the individual. Oh man, this is an interesting weekly right here. Because again, it's that same 100 moving average, and actually these are the first moments ever. Man, that's an interesting doji. Oof. I wish this closed just like 10 cents higher. If this was just above this candle, oh my goodness. But I'm not going to lie to you, that's kind of a bullish candle. We've got a decent uptrend going right there. We've got a positive MACD, red over green on both the MACD and the RSI. That's real good volume, and that's a very low weekly. Man, this might make a run for 1099. I can see this wanting 1099. I'm not going to move that line right there, but interesting doji. Again, we've got over it, couldn't confirm. Got over it, couldn't confirm. Got over it. I don't know how good I would call those two individually, and clearly a doji doesn't count, but hey, we've at least stayed over. And look, I'm seeing a golden cross. Did it actually golden cross? It did. Look, I see a little bit of gold over the green right. Oh, sorry, wow, over the blue right there, right? So MSOS, I think that's a real good weekly chart. I think that's a good recovery based on the S&P 500. Let's just confirm. And again, my thoughts were we were going to break the 1050 line. If S&P 500 holds, obviously my thoughts are going to be we're going to break that 1050 line. All right. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, let's round this out with CRON. All right. So yeah, I said if the views were going to be good, I might take this off. I'll be honest, the views weren't that good, but the comments were really interesting, all right? So I actually want to learn a little bit from the team here, and then I'll give you my technical thoughts, all right? So real quick, if you can please subscribe and share, it does me wonders. It does the algorithms really well, and yeah, please and thank you, okay? CRON. There seems to be an agreement that CRON has really good financials. It seems like they have a good amount of money, but it sounds like revenue's an issue. Let me know if anyone disagrees with that. I did not verify that at all right? I have not looked at their financials. I have no plans on doing it, right? Like it's a two-way street here. My question to someone, there was a real good breakdown. I'm sorry, I don't remember the username top of my head of CRON. My question was, what do you think they're going to do with all the money that they have? Do you think that they're going to acquire some companies and try to gain revenue that way? Or do you think they're going to turn their money into revenue somehow? And my question actually is, what's the somehow? I actually don't know if Kronos is here to grow. I don't know if they're here to be storefronts that sell. I really don't know how Kronos wants to or plans to make money, right? But when you've got a lot of money and no revenue, that's not a horrible place to be, in all honesty, right? And again, this is one thing I talked about in the last video. This stock has a much better sustainable uptrend since middle of last year than any other one. Don't get me wrong, there are some parabolic movements that aren't blue chip sustainable, right? But yeah, that's an uptrend that Tilray, CGC, High Tide, SNDL, none of them could do as pretty as this one, right? So I think in some ways that is my technical way of saying, okay, maybe the financials and the fundamentals are real, right? But how do you think they will turn money in the bank into perpetual money being deposited by revenue, right? Like that's the question I got for the team, all right? From there, look, we are, yes, since under the line. However, I say this all the time, all right? We've basically been above it, and to me, that's a doji on the line. That's a doji that doesn't count, but that's a doji that's signaling Monday needs to do something important, okay? Monday needs to close at the minimum at 275 or a little bit higher for me to feel comfortable. Otherwise, I think we're going to come down to 250. Now, the good thing with Kronos versus the other ones is the fall from the 8 to the 20 isn't that horrible. It really isn't, all right? What we're talking about, a quarter being 10 cents, right? And we're not even going up or down a quarter, maybe down a little bit, right? So it's not that bad. And look, I'm still seeing a 20 that's going up, right? It's not as exponentially up as other ones, but that's still going to be going up, right? So maybe even the 20 gets closer to 250 and adds a little bit of extra strength to that. But the fall from the 8 and the 20 doesn't scare me as much as it does on other ones. And hey, I am always bullish over the 8 and the 20. That's how this works until the charts tell me otherwise, right? So that's definitely the immediate day-to-day. And look, this week broke multiple moving averages. Doji don't count and doji don't count. Now, a lot of people thought it was going to go to 3. This close down here matters more to me, right? So doji, it's definitely, I mean, we got to get here. We need 285 by Friday to confirm the 100. All right, I think that's what we need. Again, I just mentioned 275 on Monday, right? So that could be an easy way to start well and creep on up, right? But yeah, I see the MACD. Yeah, I see the RSI. Yeah, I see the volume. Look, Friday's always a loser day. And hey, our RSI was crazy high in the 90s, right? So yeah, we need to come into the 70s and the 60s so that we can reset, right? So I care way more about up here than these 3 down here for now, all right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Oh my gosh, I appreciate you so much.